update on an urgent meeting you had in Curacao recently as a follow-up to your meeting with Mr. Ansari and CBCS.
Thank you, Ms. Boasman. The follow-up meeting in Curacao had to do with some urgent matters that we are facing, or the central bank, as a matter of fact, is facing. It is agreed in the meetings that we had that any questions to that effect should be directed directly to the central bank. So I would like to refer you to contact the central bank on that.
The Central Bank for Curacao and St. Martin recently distanced itself from statements that you made regarding Gyro Bank. The bank said in the Curacao media that your statements were remarkable since Gyro Bank is under strict CBSC supervision. What are your comments about this, and are you still encountering difficulties in obtaining information from CBCS?
Thank you once more. I've seen that statement, and there was something in the statement that I would have said or made a remark that was talking about bankruptcy. I've never made that statement, and if you look back at the press briefing on that day, I never made that remark. So to me, it's remarkable as well. But again, because it is under the emergency ruling from the central bank, I would like for you to refer any questions that you have to the central bank.
Look at tourism for this season in particular and going forward. The numbers, the indications already are showing that St. Martin is going to do record-breaking numbers compared to previous years, and in some sectors, even years that preceded that. Why can I say this? Up to yesterday, I had a conversation with some of the marinas. One of the marinas in particular indicated to me that they anticipate that the bookings for mega yachts that are coming will prove once again that St. Martin is the destination to be for this season. If we look at even the flight frequencies that are returning, over the past weekend, we had, for instance, 5 flights that arrived from United Airways. We have several other new routes, like I mentioned earlier in my opening statements, that are coming. That is going to continue to show the revitalization of not only our economy, but the rebirth of our tourism product. A lot of effort and work has gone into our tourism sector, the marketing, the promotion of it, changing certain visions that are more in line and reflective of the times we're in, being more conscious financially of the decisions that we have to take. It is no more times where St. Martin can just sit back and enjoy having tourists coming without any motivation, without any push. Similarly, with new properties that are coming online, as mentioned, was made recently in the media with the Adonis property in Coupacroy. We're also going to see soon Port-de-Plaisance, which is going to become a Wyndham property. So we're looking at having
A beautiful thing happens when you get a group of motivated people together. You get the job done. It doesn't matter what their background is. All that matters is their common goal, their spirit, their dedication. It makes all the difference, doesn't it? And we want you to know that being there for you when you need us is our goal. We're here to work with you in every way. Because no matter what we do or where we are, we understand. The difference is you. We're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
In the meeting that you had with TEAT, were you guys provided with an estimate or at least a number of how many students failed the exam as a result of this new system?
No, we asked for the statistics. We did not get those statistics yet. We hope that in the answers that we will get from the TEAT, that we will get those answers. Yeah, there is one thing more that we have been keen on. We have been suggesting for improvement in the system, and we still don't know what they did with our suggestions to improve the system. So these are all things that in the answers that we will get in writing, we are looking forward to get those answers and take it on from there. Sister Claire Elshot, as a representative of the Windward Islands Chamber of Labor Unions, and Mr. Theophilus Thompson as a representative of the WIFOL, Windward Islands Federation of Labor. They left yesterday, this week, to a meeting in the Dominican Republic, Santo Domingo, where they will meet with all the union leaders of the region. We think that this is a very positive development, where union leaders of the region will come together, share together, and address issues of concern of the whole labor movement in the Caribbean. We're looking forward to their report, hopefully next week. She herself can be assisting us in that part. We think that every possibility that union leaders have to meet and to strategize how to continue the movement is very positive. And
what's some of the things that are going to be highlighted in the meeting with all the unions of the Caribbean?
Well, I don't have the agenda. What I know is that you remember a few weeks ago, the WIFOL had a reflection at the WIFOL building about the labor union movement in St. Martin, and they spoke about reformulating and re-articulating what the labor union movement should do. And it's the same topic, more or less, that will be addressed in Santo Domingo, because the whole labor union movement in the region is being faced with challenges that have changed because of the time. And what will be interesting is that from our labor union movement, the experience after the hurricane, how people lost their jobs, whereas there are laws that protect those workers, how they went about it. We know that the WIFO union, for instance, won 13 court cases where the employers were actually condemned to still pay the workers for the days that they have been without working, but which was an obligation based on the contract that they had. So these are things that have to be addressed, how you go about it, how can you provide more security for the workers. Another thing that had to be addressed is the migration. A lot of workers in the region, they work here and then they move there based upon what is possible and all of that. And then you have how these workers are being treated, migrant workers. We had recently here in the university a reflection on migration, and in particular of the Venezuelan migration that we could see right now. But all the people that have been migrating from the Caribbean, how are we treating them, right? And now that these Venezuelans are coming also, how do we go about it? The whole thing is that we want them to help us to rebuild. We want them to participate in our economy. They're paying tax. And at the end of the day, they're not getting adequate housing, they're not getting adequate social protection when they are in a situation that is not up to par. And they even don't get voting rights. So with that said, this whole aspect of the human rights of workers is something that it's good that they reflect on it, that they discuss it, and that they will come up with a strategy for how to go about it in the future.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
The 2018 budget of the Ombudsman amounted to 1,466,434 guilders in the general ledger and 68,800 guilders in the capital ledger. From the available budget, an amount of 104,893 guilders and 6 cents. Oh, sorry. 1,430,400 guilders and 6 cents was spent, and not spent was 104,893 guilders and 94 cents. The total expenses of the Ombudsman, we have divided them in personal costs and operating expenses. About 60% of the operational costs, or the total expenses, are related to personnel, and the balance is approximately 40% operational expenses. This is a breakdown of most of the expenses in 2018, which is travel, utilities, which include electricity, water, and telephone, rent, insurance, which is vehicle and content insurance, legal support, training, gasoline, supplies, repairs and maintenance, which is to building the vehicles and as well as hardware, computer hardware, etc., advertisements, and other. The other expenses include the license fee for our document and complaint handling system, WorkPro, IT servicing costs, website maintenance, and year report printing expenses, as well as some other expenses. This slide shows how the spending of the Bureau has developed from its inception until present. It should be noted that while the Bureau was established after 10-10-10, it did not become fully operational until 2012. As well as it should also be noted that from 2012 to 2014, an amount of 1 million guilders was received from the Kingdom program, Opbouw Hoger Colleges van Staat, that was used for the operational expenses of the Ombudsman in the years 2012 to 2014. So therefore, it's only from 2015, and you can see the difference between the expenses in 2014 and 15, that the budget was completely spent available from the government of St. Martin.
There is a lot of criticism on government coming from the public, and this is government on the whole. Many visits to the Ombudsman Bureau are regarding frustration of persons who feel neglected, disrespected, or not taken serious by civil servants. They visit the Bureau as a last resort because they feel that someone at that office would listen, care, and take their concerns seriously. Behind every complaint is a person or family who has requested a service from government and has been waiting for months or sometimes even years on a response from government. Most of them have not even received an acknowledgement of receipt or an update on their request. The public prefers a motivated no above uncertainty. With this, Mr. Chair, I would like to note that the Ministry of Justice continues to bear the most concern. Investigations regarding the ministry are not progressing due to non-responses. This remains the case until today. Government is obligated to cooperate and provide the information and documentation that is deemed necessary based on Article 19 of the National Ordinance of the Ombudsman. Not doing so constitutes a violation of the law. Citizens are entitled to adequate responses to inquiries and applications. Numerous letters of concern, zorgbrieven, outlining the main bottlenecks within the ministry and research papers regarding procedures established by law but not properly followed, have been issued in the past. To date, no response has been received to these letters of concern. A short overview of the main concerns are as follows. No clarity and/or compliance with the policy for housing rent allowance for police officers. Lack of information on HR policies, procedures and the legal basis, placement of staff, remunerations, and transfers and compensation. Clarity on the organizational structure and accountability of the Court of Guardianship and other independent agencies such as SJIB, de Stichting Justitiële Inrichting Bovenwinden. Lack of transparency regarding enforcement of the laws and regulations governing the functioning of the Court of Guardianship, such as child support, human rights aspects at the prison, slachtofferhulp, and following through with verdicts of the court. The Ombudsman also expresses her concern with the Ministry of Vromi. In a previous meeting with the Secretary General of the Ministry of Vromi, it was said that the structural deficiencies within several departments pertaining to staffing and budgetary constraints were the main reasons for the lack of responses to requests of the public and the investigations of the Ombudsman. These challenges may in no way exempt any ministry from its duty to respond and service the public. With this said, the Ombudsman is requesting Parliament to seriously address the non-adherence to investigations of the Ombudsman, which is a violation of the National Ordinance of the Ombudsman. I would like to end in saying, my predecessor always said this, and I will end by saying it. The Ombudsman is a critical friend, an important ally, if recognized and valued as such.
Mr. Chairman, if I take what the minister's given me based on the answers, the bondholders is holding 72 million in insurance proceeds. We are borrowing 100 million or 122 million. If I add it up, there's still some 30 to 40 million sitting somewhere that is not being used. So it's either my maths are wrong or something is not adding up based on the figures what was sent to Parliament. Something is totally not adding up here because he only reached 142 million. Something is not adding up. So you better be clear to me, Mr. Chairman.
Minister, would you like to react on the statements made by MP Richardson, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The cost to rehabilitate is a total of 148. Part of those monies will go to OPEX, has nothing to do with the reconstruction. So, operational expenses of the airport for the duration of the indenture and the reconstruction. So that you do not add on to the physical monies that you need for the reconstruction, but it's still the amount. So what we need for the reconstruction, added to that will also be the insurance proceeds.
Yes, Minister.
So you have 148, and I just gave you the breakdown, what we need and what it costs for the fiscal reconstruction. Then I gave the amount that is needed for the operational expenses. So you do not add that money to the monies for the reconstruction. That is operational expense. This is a capital expenditures, and the other one is operational expenditures. And then you still have the insurance proceeds that will be added on to pay back certain outstandings So to me, that is what it is. So I have no other figures right now. This is what is calculated. But maybe to put it in context also, Mr. Chairman, I can recall that when we started off on this track, and this is just to inform people, when we started off on this track, from within the airport was basically looking on the open financial market for financing to the tune of over 200 million. And from that group, I'm getting the same sentiments. Why do you need so much money? And I've always asked them, why do you need it then, the 220 million? You know, so what we have, these are the figures done by engineers, assessed, and if it's too much, it's fine, because then we don't need all of that money. But for now, this is exactly what we calculated it for, and that's what we need, and that's what we have the agreement for. Besides that,
Please, MP Richardson, let's give the Minister space to answer. Minister, you can proceed. Please,
yes,
Minister.
thank you. Anyway, we sent that out prior to the meeting already, so these figures were delivered to the members of Parliament when we send in the written answers.